Welcome to the Jill on Money Show. It's Tuesday, July 15th, and we are here talking to you about whatever's going on in your life. I know it's the summer. You don't want to deal with your finances, but a lot of decisions get deferred during these months. And I think it would be actually in your best interest to do a little bit more focusing on what you can change today rather than wait till the end of the year or push it off again. Let us be your gentle nudge. It's like having a mother-in-law just nudge you about all the things that you should be doing. But we do it in the most gentle of ways. We just ask that you go to our website, jillonmoney.com. In the upper right-hand corner of that website is the Contact Us button. When you click that button, all you need to do is write us what's going on, write us your note, and that's the email we receive. If you'd like to join us live, check the box. Mark will do everything else. Now, I just want to have a small moment here to have a little conversation with you. For those of you who maybe listen or watch us on YouTube, mostly listen, and you're commenting about how somehow or other you think that people have the time to brag about their financial conditions. Why is this a brag fest? Honestly, you people who are, I'm sure that the people who are listening for like 2 seconds, they write something nasty down. How about you come on the show and tell us about what's going on for you? We do not distinguish between the person who has a little money and a lot of money. We do understand that everybody has financial issues. So if you can't quite wrap your head around that, go listen to someone else where there's just only one type of person, where everybody's in debt and can't get out of debt, and they do the same dopey thing over and over, and someone on a microphone is sort of metaphorically shaking their finger and telling them how to spend their money. There are a lot of shows like that. This is not one of them. This is a program for anyone who has financial issues, whether they have a lot of money or a little bit of money. And so we spread that out. Instead of leaving us nasty remarks, how about you just come on the program and we'll figure out what's going on in your life? You see, everybody gets a chance. Everybody's got a shot. We're here to help. We want to help everybody out. And that's what we are here to do. So with that said, let's go talk to Mandy, who joins us from Ohio, who's not a hater. She's happy to be with us, right, Mandy?
I'm so excited. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
I'm excited too. And also very delighted that we have geographic diversity, Ohio, middle of the country, not just the coast. We're ready to talk about anything. So what's on your mind, Mandy? What's happening?
Well, I am calling to try to get some perspective on financials and life amidst some different times. So my fiance and I both work in higher education, which has not been as stable as it used to be in terms of job security. In our state, there's been some legislation passed recently that does not make tenure as stable as it once was, and that makes teaching certain disciplines more challenging than it was. And so we are not quite sure to what extent we would want to stay in our jobs and how that will impact us in the future. So we're trying to get a sense and a grip of what our financials are, where it's going. I also have some inheritance coming up next month, and I would love to know what to do with it to help ensure financial success in case one of us has to change jobs or doesn't have a job, and just all the stuff in between along with that.
That's a lot of stuff. So are you guys both in tenured track positions, or do either of you or both of you have tenure already?
So my fiance, she is in the tenure track and she still has a few years to get tenure. So she's still probationary. I work in a staff and research position where I'm not on the tenure track, but I actually do have more security just due to the nature of how my position is funded. So mine is the more stable job. Hers is still, she has to get through tenure. And then there's all of the things after that.
And then not piss anyone off to lose the tenure, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. How old is she?
So she is 33.
Oh, so cute and young. And how about you, Mandy?
I'm 31.
Your whole life ahead of you. I'm so excited for you guys. Okay, so do you guys, you said fiance, so when are you getting married?
We are getting married next summer.
Exciting. Very exciting. How much do you guys earn? Let's start with your fiance, since she's a little bit more at risk, you say. So how much does she earn right now?
Sure. So her base salary effective next month after the new raises will be $71,000 based. And then if she teaches during the summer, she gets a prorated salary per course, and that's about $6,000 a summer course. So she might depend on that. It just depends on if the course enrolls or not.
Okay. And let's not count the summer thing for now.
Okay.
Let's just look at your base. And what about for you, Mandy?
My base salary is $73,000, and I also have the opportunity to teach extra classes and do other work.
Do you do that now? I mean, because since you are the more stable, I'm just want to figure out what we should count on.
Sure, I do. And it's hard to calculate because I also give presentations and workshops and talks for other schools, but I usually can depend on about $5,000 extra a year between different gigs.
Great. Perfect. Okay. Are you both part of you work at the same place? Is there a pension? Is there a retirement plan? What's going on?
So she has a pension. She's in the Ohio School Teacher Pension Program, where she has to put in 14% of her salary every month. The university matches 14. And then I believe it's after the 34 years, which I'm not sure if that's likely at this point for her to stay. But
it sounds like 134 years.
Yeah. They would, in theory, it would be the 74% of your highest 3 years that you would get. And then depending on if you have survivor benefits or not is the monthly cost.
I gotcha. Okay. But that's a really long haul for her.
Yes.
So we're not going to count on that necessarily, right?
Yeah. And I think if she leaves earlier than that, obviously, I think if you wait until you're 59 and a half, you can get a smaller payout, but she hasn't vested yet. She's only starting her 4th year. So she doesn't know what the 5-year vesting schedule would look like yet.
All right. So she started 4th year. Okay. I gotcha. Okay. In addition to that pension, does she put any other money away from her salary? Is there any sort of deferred compensation, or is it all this pension plan?
We have options available. She has not yet started, which is a question I might have for you later, should we? But she does put $200 a month into a Roth IRA right now.
Oh, that's good. All right. Now, for you, you're not part of the pension system, right?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
So what are you doing in terms of saving for retirement?
I have a 401a plan through the university where I put in 10% automatically. They match, it's like 11.76% because you have to mitigate not being in the pension scheme.
Yep.
And then I also have 2 457s because I recently discovered those and they're amazing. I have a Roth 457B that I'm only putting in 150 right now. And then I have the traditional 457B, which I understand you can access once you sever employment.
Yep.
I'm putting in 350 a month right now.
So you're doing $350 a month into traditional, $150 into Roth, and then the 10% into the 401a, right?
Yes. And I also have a Roth IRA that I'm maxing out every year.
You must not be living too high on the hog. Do you guys own your own home?
We do.
What's the house worth?
It's worth about $410,000.
Okay. Do you own that jointly, or did one of you come into this relationship with the house?
We owned it jointly. We bought it together during the relationship.
Okay, good. So you really must like each other. I mean, forgetting about the marriage, buying real estate before you're married, I think that shows true love. How about, exactly. Yeah. What is the mortgage that you guys have taken out to do this?
So we took out a 30-year mortgage. We were able to refinance in October when rates got really low for like a minute.
Yep.
And so we were able to secure a 5.875% mortgage. Great. And previous to that, it was 6.5%. I had also put some extra inheritance that I'd gotten into it. So we have about 26 years left, $237,000 left on the mortgage.
$237,000. And you love this place. This is like, you're going to stay, right?
We want to, but I think that's the question. If one or both of our jobs doesn't work out, academic, it's really hard to get another job. And there are 2 of us. It's called the 2-body problem, where is there a chance that both of us can get a job in our specialty at the same place is a little harder. So in theory, we want to stay, but we might not be able to.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. And so let's just do a little bit of the dollar amounts, because you said you guys have put a lot of money away. And for her pension, do you happen to know what her pension value is right now?
Right now, it should be worth around $40,000.
Okay. And then let's do her Roth IRA.
She has $12,500 in it right now.
Okay. And your Roth IRA?
My Roth IRA has $34,800.
Okay. And now let's do your 457 Roth.
That is $7,400.
Okay. And your 457 traditional.
That is $5,800.
Great. And your 401a.
That is $70,000.
Okay. You guys saved a lot of money. You're so young. This is great. You did
Mm.
not have loans. There's no way you had loans if you have this much money.
No, we were fortunate to get full scholarships, and in PhD school, they paid our tuition to teach.
Wow. That's amazing. Okay. So, what about beyond these retirement assets? Do you have some money in cash?
Yes.
What do you have?
So I have about 64,000 between my high yield savings and checking.
Hmm.
My fiance has about 37,500. And I also have a brokerage account that I've been just putting inheritance money into. I have about 368,000.
Oh my goodness gracious, that's a big number. And you guys, you are managing that yourself, or is someone managing that for you?
I do have a financial advisor who helped me set it up when I first started getting the inheritances and has helped me make a plan.
Do you know how this money is invested? Do you have a sense of it? Like, are you using index funds, and how are you paying this person? And, I'm already getting skeptical. So that's what you're hearing
Right.
creeping
I
into the
also,
conversation. I'm sorry.
yeah, no, that's okay. I appreciate all your perspective. It is a mostly ETFs, from what I
Hmm.
understand. The returns have been pretty decent from what I can see, and I do believe they take 1%.
Okay. 1%. Okay.
Hmm. And I think it's
Um,
quarterly, where it comes out of my account quarterly.
yep. And yeah, that's fine. And have they done real financial planning for you in addition to just that money management piece?
I would say yes. They want to meet with me every 6 months or so, and we talk about some of my goals.
Hmm.
I would ask questions randomly, like, "Is this a good deal for refinancing a mortgage?" And they would give some input.
Hmm. Do they do like retirement planning scenarios for you, or have they outlined any, like a real financial plan?
Is it the Monty Python or?
Wait a second. This is the best. Okay. So the Monty Python is the Monte Carlo
Oh, okay.
simulation, which is fantastic. That's the best thing I've ever heard. I cannot wait to tell some of my
I'm
advisor
trying.
friends.
I'm an English person. I'm trying.
I love it. It's the Monty Python simulation. That's what I'm calling it from now on. I'm going to always say, like Mandy from Ohio, as she says, it's the Monty Python simulation. Okay. So, how's your cash flow right now? You're saving a lot of money. Like, do you feel good? Do you feel, I mean, forgetting about the instability of your fiance and even you, but just on this amount of income, you feel pretty good?
I think so. The house has been a bit of a surprise in terms of the cash flow required for that. I mean, we just had a plumbing leak last week, and that was $600. We
Mm.
have ash trees that need special treatments every 2 years, and it's like $1,500.
Oof.
So, on the most part, I feel like we have enough money to put into our respective saving, but some months we have almost no money left. But of course, previous months we might have some more left over.
Hmm.
So we're managing based on what we have.
I mean, I think you're saving a ton of money in these
So that's good.
retirement accounts. You're really doing a great job. Fantastic. And you've got cash of 100 grand. So that's good in case one or both of you were to have a change in your jobs.
Hmm.
You mentioned an inheritance. So first of all, I'm
Hmm.
sorry for your loss. What do you think is due in terms of future part of this inheritance? It's not settled yet, is what I'm hearing.
Yes, it's attached to selling some land, and I know that that's in the works. And I think it depends on how much will have to be taken out for selling and for lawyer and estate trust fees, but it should be around 200,000, maybe a little bit less or more, depending on how the numbers work out.
Is that happening like soonish? Should we factor that in? Like, what do you do with that 200 grand when it comes, or do you think it's going to be a while before you get that?
It's supposed to be by the end of next month, so
Oh,
unless
okay.
something
So
goes
that's soon.
wrong, yeah.
Okay. So this is all actually great timing. If, for you guys just to sock away having a bunch more money in that brokerage account, I think gives you a lot of comfort. It should, at least.
Hmm.
I think you have an incredibly vibrant outlook when it comes to the money you have saved already. You really have done a great job. So let's now talk about, like, what would happen if we're going to talk a little bit about your
Hmm.
plan B.
Okay.
If your fiance were to lose her job, and
Hmm.
you want to stay there because you have your job. So,
Hmm.
maybe I think, yes, it's possible you both lose your jobs, but you're saying it's more likely she's the one that is more at risk, you think?
I think, and even if her job is still there, it just might not be what she thought it would be when she first joined the ranks, and it might not be desirable to stay.
Okay. So If she were to switch her career, maybe even get out of academia, because that often
Mhm.
is like, okay, that's enough of that.
Mhm.
What do you think she could earn that, again, be reasonable. Don't
Mhm.
have you guys move to a whole new place, but like in your area, could she earn instead of 70 plus a little stuff on the side, could she earn 50, you think?
I would say so. Probably working on a nonprofit
Mm-hmm.
in
Okay.
areas that are aligned with her interests.
Okay, that's great. I mean, I think that what you really need to do is make sure that, if that were to happen, you don't take too much time in between
Mhm.
jobs. Like she should
Okay.
probably be looking right now just to like have in her back pocket. Maybe she's going to find
Mhm.
something she likes better,
Mhm.
especially if she's sort of disenchanted with what
Mhm.
she has been doing. Then there's no reason to stick around for a pension that is just, you're not staying there 25 years if she's not that
Mhm.
happy. It's just not
Yeah.
happening. So let's try to like at least suss out if you were to stay where you are and she were to lose some of that income instead of 70
Mhm.
plus, she's making more like 50, then
Mhm.
she would probably, I think the difference would be in your long-term planning would be is that the money that was going into the pension, that 14%, she instead of doing her 14% into that pension, she'd probably do, you know, 14, 10, 12, let's say even 10% into whatever
Mhm.
retirement plan was offered to her. There may or may not be a match, but you guys have a lot of money already. You really
Mhm.
do. We would just have to look at your cash flow,
Mm.
and so it wouldn't be when you say like there are some months we have no money left over, it's because you're putting so much money away.
Mm. That's true. It is. You're already
It's not like
accounting for it.
you're not spending it. You're
Mm.
you're doing a great job. I mean, you are basically in a place where you can manage the expenses that you have assumed. So big picture, you're like, how am I doing? You know what? You're doing great. You're doing fantastically well. You're young. You're putting money away. If something were to happen with your fiance, all you would try to do is just say, okay, let's just like batten down the hatches. Let's look at what's going on. You don't have to change your spending. You will probably put a little bit less money away for her, maybe, and maybe not. Let's see where she lands. You have plenty of cash. You have a bunch of money in the brokerage account. You will have another couple $100,000 to add to the brokerage account, and you should be in very good shape to manage whatever comes next. You really are. I mean, even if, God forbid, let's just pretend for some reason, like the university shuts down. I've heard of such things. Okay.
Hmm.
I know where you work, so I don't think that's going to happen. But like, let's just pretend you worked at one of these very, very teeny tiny liberal arts schools that has gone broke and you both lost
Mhm.
your jobs immediately. You'd go out and you'd go get new jobs and maybe you wouldn't make as much. You probably would. You're like, like you're very smart people and you're very accomplished. And so you'll get some jobs. You may not make 140 or 50,000. You might make more like 120 between the two of you and we'll reassess. But you have
Mhm.
plenty of money to float yourself. You should not feel like, oh my God, we have to sell our house immediately. Like, don't,
Mhm.
no, nothing like that. The only thing that I would say is if you feel confident about the advisor and you want to stick with that advisor, 1% is fine. My guess is you could probably do it yourself, but I'm not going to
Mhm.
put that on you because you have a lot on your plate right now.
And I wanted to ask you too, if I may,
Yeah.
part of our planning when we thought like the tenure track job was going to be great for the foreseeable future was potentially I could step down from working full time after 10 years or so and maybe pursue some passion projects, work on the house, do other things.
Mm.
We're not quite sure if that would be possible if her job doesn't go the way that we would think. Is there anything that we should be doing if we wanted to maintain that plan of potentially stepping down earlier than a full career?
I Okay, here's what I think. I know that you're not going to want to hear this, but my two cents is don't worry about that right now. I
Okay.
mean, yes, there are ways to plan for that, but the biggest way is to have a big fat brokerage account, which you will have because of this inheritance. But
Okay.
I also wouldn't freak out about it one way or the other because I don't think that sound just from talking to you for, let me see, how long have we been talking now? I know you very well for 24 and a half minutes. For the last 24 and a half minutes, what I can tell is you would not feel good if you were to step down and things were not locked down. And that's out of your hands right now.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just I'll play it out how I think it could work really well. Like she gets a new job and she's like, you know what? I'm not working in public service. I'm not working in higher ed. I got a job where I'm actually in the private sector and I'm making money. And all of a sudden, instead of making 70, I'm making 150 and life's great. And I'm a total sellout. By the way, being a sellout, not the worst thing in the world. I've done it my whole life. Okay. So you then are going to have lots of choices. But if she gets, if she leaves this job and we've said, she's making 50 in 10 years, are you going to really feel like you want to step down? I doubt it. I just doubt that that's going to be the case. But, you might have the opportunity instead of saying like, I'm going to do nothing. You might say, I really hate my job. And maybe at that point in 10 years, you're making like 85 or 90 and she's, reestablish her career in a different way. You might say, do the same thing, which is now instead of saying I'm not working, you might say, you know what, I could work in a different job and earn less. But we don't know the answer to that right now. And that's okay. I mean, you're so young. If God, I'm going to sound like an old fart right now, but here I go. When I was, 30 years old, I had no idea that I was going to be in the media. Okay. Or when Mark was 30 years old, he probably thought he was going to be in radio for the rest of his life, producing, syndicated radio shows for the rest of his life and on a trajectory. And like, you can't imagine what's going to come next. But what I can tell you is the base that you have created of this asset base, this savings habit, forgetting about the brokerage, the $100,000 in cash, the money in the retirement accounts. You guys have done an incredible job. You really have. And I think the saving grace is that you didn't have loans, because I'm sure you know plenty of people who are like you and you went to school with these folks and you're like, you know what? They're not doing so great because they have those loans and you don't. And so smart for you guys to do it the way you did it. Anything else on your mind?
I don't think you mentioned to just put the inheritance into the brokerage. I was thinking for a while, should I up my 457 contributions while I have the extra money? Okay.
Nah, let's keep the brokerage because you might need this money and we want you to have some options. I think having access to the money and the liquidity, having options in the next year or two are going to be important for you guys. Now, one last thing before you guys get married, that on your to-do list is to have wills drafted, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
We're in the process of that. We have like the healthcare, POA, all of that taken care of for now. Perfect.
If things change, if next week you're like, oh my God, my fiance just left in a huff, then we'll work it out from there, okay?
Appreciate you all so much. It's made me feel so much better about just everything happening.
Well, we so appreciate you coming on and joining us. So thank you so much. And if you are like Mandy and her fiance, and maybe one of you has like a little bit less job security, we'd love to hear from you. I think this is a smart conversation to be having for a lot of different people. A lot of people who are in tech have been contacting me sort of on the side. A lot of people in media, not surprisingly. There are a lot of industries that are going through big changes. Higher ed, government, all these different areas where you used to think you had some stability, maybe not so much. Run your scenario by me and Mark. We're both certified financial planners and we'd love to help. So just go to JillOnMoney.com, click the contact us button, write us a note. And if you want to join us on the air live, check the box. Mark will do everything else. Hey, don't forget to sign up for the free weekly newsletter. Mark does such a good job with that. You can subscribe to us on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. And we remind you to please try to lift someone up, change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.